One of the most busted hunter builds over the last few seasons has just got even better. I'm talking about Caliban's hand. Loads and loads of elemental wells, loads and loads of explosions, scorch ignitions everywhere, and it's got a huge buff this season because of this mod here, Monochromatic Maestro. And this mod and Caliban's hand work absolutely perfectly together. So how good Caliban's hand's been over the last couple of seasons, it's just got a major buff this season, and I'm going to show you why, how these two work together, Monochromatic Maestro and Caliban's hand. So I'll start off with the Monochromatic Maestro mod. Dealing damage with elemental abilities grants increased damage to weapons of the same element for a short duration. So if we do damage with our throwing knife or grenade, that is going to give a 10% buff to our solo weapons because it's on the same subclass element type. So getting a kill or a hit with our solo abilities is going to buff our weapon damage by 10%, but it also works the other way as well. If we do damage with our solo weapon, it is also going to buff our abilities by 10%. So it works both ways, and it's a really good, nice little perfect loop to do, and it comes really naturally to do. It's not something you have to practice. It just comes naturally after a couple of sort of plays with a build. You get used to it, and it's just something you do all the time. Caliban's hand, I'm just going to quickly go over them, and then I'm going to show you some more footage. Your proximity knife scorches targets, it damages with its explosions or ignites targets on a final blow. And then after throwing your proximity knife, you gain increased melee regeneration until the knife explodes. So you can leave it on the ground as something to walk into as well, so that's a nice little bonus. But you're going to get loads and loads of ignitions. And like I said, the Monochromatic Maestro mod really buffs this build and buffs these throwing knives, these proximity knives, by 10%. On top of that, I've also run in melee wellmaker and explosive wellmaker, so we can consistently keep our Font of Might going all the time. You're going to get loads of elemental wells, and Font of Might does stack perfectly with Monochromatic Maestro, so you can get a 35% damage buff going all the time. And this is what Caliban's hand does. It just destroys enemies in all level content, even master content in GMs. I've done builds with this in the past in GMs, but getting that extra 10% damage from the Monochromatic Maestro mod, as long as we're doing damage with our solo weapons, you got consistently giving yourself extra damage. Now, one of the weapons that works really nicely with this one is Parasite. It absolutely wrecks because Parasite, you stack damage. I'll go through what Parasite does in a moment, but Parasite works really nicely. What it does, this weapon fires hive worms which explode on impact. The size and the damage of the explosion scales with the number of enemies you defeat just before firing this weapon. It's a solo weapon, it's perfect for Monochromatic Maestro, and it's perfect for stacking damage and getting that extra 10% from your solo knife like that. So you throw your ability, get that extra 10% plus your Parasite damage that you've stacked, and it works absolutely perfectly. And you just absolutely wreck all types of enemies with it. It just destroys even barrier champs, not needing to do any barrier damage to them, just destroys them. Then this clip now, I've just done this a couple of times just to show you the sort of loop of play that we need to do to sort of get the best out of it. Do damage with your solo weapon like so, and that's going to buff your grenade and your super and your knife by 10%. So you're going to see me doing this quite a lot in the clips. Solo damage, throw my grenade, and that's you proccing that Monochromatic Maestro. So that's like basically what we do all the time. And like I said, it also works the other way with the throwing knife as well. Throwing knife, get your solo weapon out, get that 10% extra damage buff, and it works really nicely together, especially with Caliban's. Like I said, you're going to cause absolute carnage with these. Look at that. It's the most explosive hunter build over the last couple of seasons. And then with us getting the Font of Might and the extra solo damage from the Monochromatic Maestro, we're going to complement loads of good weapons. Parasite is a really good one. Now, I haven't tested every single weapon, but Eriana's Vow is also a very good one because that already hits hard, and getting that 10% from Monochromatic Maestro going on it and the Font of Might 25% makes Eriana's Vow even better than it already is. It absolutely wrecks. And then like I said, you're going to see me doing that quite a lot, hitting with my solo weapon, and that's going to buff that knife like so, getting even more damage than what's actually needed. Caliban's hand was always good anyway, but getting that extra 10% on your abilities is absolute carnage. Now I just want to sort of touch on this as well. It does work really nicely with Osmosis weapons. So if you've got like an Osmosis Fatebringer, that's obviously going to turn into a solo weapon as soon as you throw your grenade. The Monochromatic Maestro, Font of Might, etc. all stacks with Osmosis weapons as well. It's just something I thought I'd throw in there, to be honest. I don't really mention Osmosis a lot, but it's a really good sort of perk for this sort of build. And then now I'm just going to leave some clips playing out of how good this sort of setup is and how much explosions you're going to get like so. This is a 1580 Nightfall. I also did some 1600 stuff with it as well, and it absolutely destroys waves of enemies like so, and you're going to get that many elemental wells flying about everywhere from melee well maker and the explosive well maker. So you consistently have that 10% damage boost for your weapons or your abilities, and then on top of that with your weapons as well, you're going to get that 25% to stack from the Font of Might as well, and it's really nice, perfect for every sort of situation. The one thing I've got left to do now is show you my fragments on my hunter, and I will also leave a build card with all my different mods and everything that I've got set up, and I'll also leave a dim link in the video description, so stay tuned. I'm going to show you my fragments that I'm running on my hunter. So the first one is On Your Mark. Precision final blows grant you and your allies increased weapon handling reload speed. For a duration, it stacks up to 3 times. Activating your class ability immediately grants maximum stacks of On Your Mark, so getting that extra reload on top of everything else for you and your teammates is absolutely perfect. Plus you get 3 fragment slots. Knock 'em down, your solar supers are enhanced. Deadshot Golden Gun has damage resistance. Marksman Golden Gun has increased duration and blade barrage. Also launches more projectiles. When you are radiant, your final blows with your equipped throwing knife fully refund your melee energy. I just want to touch on radiant. That does stack with Monochromatic Maestro as well, so it's perfect. And you also get a nice couple of fragment slots with that one as well. Incendiary Grenade is the one I run on purpose on all my Caliban's builds, usually because it applies the most scorch. Therefore you're going to get a lot more ignitions. Proximity Knife is the one you must run for the Solar Caliban's build. You must run Proximity Knife for Caliban's to work. Gambler's Dodge is the one I always run. Infinite Melees, as long as you dodge near an enemy, you're going to consistently get melee back. Ember of Char, Ember of Eruption, Ember of Ashes. Now these 3 are the ones that you need to create the most scorching ignitions. Them 3 there, Char, Eruption and Ashes, they're the most important ones. Then the other 2 I run is Ember of Torches and Ember of Wonder. Ember of Torches just to get that radiant as well, which does, like I said, stack with the Monochromatic Maestro mod. Here's my customization. I went for a Christmas Goblin kind of look. Been running around like a little Christmas green goblin, so I think this is quite a cool look. Let me know what you think, and I've also dropped a build card in there. I'll also leave a dim link in the video description. Let me know what you think of this video. I hope you have a great day.